you're out with some friends. You're in somebody's backyard. And you're like, hey, come play soccer with us. You used to play soccer, Jake. Come on out here. And you go, oh, I couldn't possibly.
Yeah.
And you go out there and you're like, it'll be great. It'll be great. And then you play soccer like an abject and you realize you're not nearly as coordinated as you used to be. You've lost some of those skills. You don't have the muscle tone. You certainly
I
don't
have
have
no
the
idea what
endurance.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
As
And
the
so-
athletic one of the three of us.
Greg is currently doing his laundry on his six-pack abs right now. That's why he's been so quiet. Working out stains on his abs.
Hey, I did run and walk today.
Hello and welcome to Grass Touchers, episode number 47, the show where the three of us pals talk about video games, how much time we don't have for them, and other things that we like, that we're into, that are going on in our life. I am Jake.
I am Jared.
And I'm Greg.
I want to hear how Jared has been. We missed you last week. What you been playing? How you're surviving out there?
Yeah, I had a wedding, and that was pretty wild. We had some other stuff going on with our business, and then I got sick, and so it's been kind of stupid. But sorry I missed last week. Sounds like you guys had a good enough time. I saw you played PUBG, so I don't know.
That's okay.
You know.
Yeah, the only good thing was that duos are back, so that's cool.
Nice. I played DOTA between now and then, and I gotta tell you, I'm really suffering. I'm really struggling. It's just a step
No
forward,
trouble in
2
paradise
steps
over there,
back.
dude?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm playing the best that I can, and I just can't seem to lock into a groove. And to be fair, I think my playing is consistent. I just can't seem to get a good team, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, it's a poor craftsman that blames his retarded teammates.
I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah. The election is coming up, and I voted.
That's right,
Which
dude.
is cool. I got the little sticker that says that I voted.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I put it
do your duty
directly
out there, folks.
on my balls.
Touch a little grass. Get
Yeah.
up in there. Yeah, tell
Yeah.
the people. That's right. Yank
Right.
those pants down. Check it out.
Check it out. I voted.
Hey, episode 47. Let's
Right.
talk about the 47th president. Huh?
Dude.
Shall we? A little
dude.
political podcast.
Let's do
And I'm
it.
absolutely.
Let's talk
joking.
about the AK-47. What's his name? What was his name?
Here you go.
Winslow.
Brandon Herrera, the AK guy. Oh, is that not where you're going with that?
No, I was gonna. Is he like some sort of mass shooter or something? Who is that?
No, he's like a gun tuber guy.
Oh.
He's got a YouTube channel. I think it's just called The AK Guy. He's like a veteran. He's actually running for office in Texas, where he lives.
Oh, okay. Good for him.
He's just one of those gun tuber guys.
I'm a 2A guy. The gun tubers recently got nuked off of YouTube, and another in the. I'm not
Really?
gonna-
What do you mean?
I think that there was a serious smackdown that the gun YouTubers got recently that like restricted a ton of what they are doing, and I think that that's total garbage because
I'm
there's
looking now.
there's a
Are you
bunch.
talking
of,
about when you say recently? You're talking about like June
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
or
it was,
more recently
it was
than that? Okay.
Pretty recently.
Well, not to go on too much of a tangent, but I looked it up just for fun because pretty unashamed to say this is more or less a 2A friendly podcast here.
Yeah.
YouTube has a large community of so-called gunfluencers who are known to promote firearms and accessories. Already prohibited content that intended to sell firearms and accessories or instruct viewers on how to make their own. You're not allowed to do live streams that show people handling or holding firearms. Wow.
You can't show a video of people holding firearms.
Live stream. You can't live stream, it says.
oh.
Which is like,
That's-
okay,
yeah,
is that so
nobody
different?
wants
But
to
okay.
see somebody's head get blown off, so it's fine, I guess.
Yeah. There's a bunch of content rules that are poorly enforced, obviously, not very evenly enforced. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg called on YouTube last month to stop the
my
proliferation of firearm-related videos to young users. It wasn't the company failed to enforce its own policies. Yeah, no kidding. Blah, 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 blah. This doesn't matter. This guy doesn't know what he's talking
So
about.
YouTube is gay. That's the
YouTube's
long
gay.
and short of it.
YouTube requires users under 17 to get their parents' permission before using the site, but there's no way to verify any of that, so it's unenforceable.
Yeah, well, kids are too busy. Actually, sorry, YouTube, but all of the kids under 17 are too busy watching pornography on various porn sites, so it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah.
Porn.
Why would I go to YouTube? So
Ridiculous.
yeah, so it's the 47th episode. I was actually going along the lines of like a Michael Winslow thing. The guy, the police academy guy, the black guy from the police academy. He would do AK-40. He's the sound effects guy. You guys familiar with him?
Boop, boop, that guy.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not-
like Spaceballs, all the sound effects, that
Right.
one clip. Yeah.
Not to be confused with the black kid who uses like echolocation to get around, which he's awesome also. The kid who's like totally
Very awesome,
blind,
dude.
and he's just like whoop, 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 and he's like that's how he like skateboards and stuff. It's crazy, dude.
I
It's
gotta
really
see
wild.
that.
You haven't
Yes.
seen that?
I say I gotta see that as in like
You
I gotta go
gotta
check it
see
out
it
again. I think I
again,
ran
dude.
across it like one time.
It's very, very good.
Cool. So Dota, but you're bad at it. And
No, bro, that's not it. I'm not bad at it. Dude, I've been dealing with just absolute man babies on that game, and it's really amazing. It will never cease to amaze me when people will get into a ranked match and they know it's going to last at least 30 some minutes, and they 2 minutes into the match are like, "What is wrong with you? You idiot! Yourself! I can't believe."
Right.
I mean, I'm not even exaggerating.
Yeah.
People are nuking their teammates like that within 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes of the start of a match, and it derails the whole match. Great job.
Yep.
Great job. And yeah, so
Love that.
so yeah, I need to freaking kill some people, dude, in real life. Teach them that I mean business. That's
You
what
know,
I'm
we've
at.
been saying this for a while. We have got to get a new game that's like on standby, ready for us to play at any given moment. We played PUBG last week, but it was, fine. And I actually caught the bug for PUBG a little bit, which was weird after that. So I played it a little bit after that.
I tried to fire up that Delta Force game like the day after you guys played it, and like it just says servers unreachable. There's nothing. I tried it again. And
Was that the end of Next Fest? Is that why?
Oh, there's like a. It
It was just
like
a
that demo?
trial. Yeah, demo.
That demo was only good for Next Fest. And then
well, I'm deleting
like
it then.
sort of, yeah, you can delete it, safely delete it for sure. The takeaway after the end of Next Fest that the publishers gave everyone was like, hey, thanks for testing all of that. The game goes live in like December for our sort of, it'll still be in like early access, but it'll be like live, and there won't be like you'll be able to keep your progress from that point forward and all that stuff. So
Wow. Okay.
I guess give it another whirl in December.
All right. December. Marvel
Big and
Rivals. That. Got my plate full
Yeah.
then.
We should probably at some point do like I don't have that prepared for this week, but tune in next week, ladies and gentlemen, to hear all about the games that are coming out in the next little while before the end of the year and into the new year, because there's a couple more things coming out. We just haven't really covered them very much.
So, Dag, on that note, what have you been up to, my friend?
Playing a little bit of Switch with my wife, and a little bit of Switch without my wife. Both enjoyable. We
cool.
bought Super Mario Party Jamboree, which is the most recent entry in the Mario Party franchise. And it's fun, it's kind of in the same vein as Super Mario Party, which came out 2 games ago. The most recent one before this one was Mario Party All-Stars, which was basically all the most popular games, mini games from all the Mario Party games, remastered with the 5 most popular boards. And Casey and I have played hundreds of hours of that. It's super fun. And so Super Mario Party Jamboree kind of borrows some of the stuff from the game engine of Super Mario Party, which came out before that. Primarily, there's companions in the game, which adds kind of a wrinkle that I don't really like that much. So you can randomly companions appear on the board, and you can, pay coins, or I think you have to play a mini game to like win them as your companion, and they provide like really pretty steep advantages. But then if someone else passes you, they can pay for your companion and take him from you, and so it kind of adds. It's pretty cool, but
so can you have more than one companion at a time?
Not in this game. You could in 2 games ago. You could.
So like if I don't have a companion and I pass by you, I could pay to like take yours.
You take my companion, yeah.
Huh.
And so.
Are they character specific? I'm picturing like if you chose to play as Bowser, like little baby Bowser as your companion.
No, they're random. So,
like
I think I've seen like Daisy, and I think I've seen Rosalina, people like that. Yeah. I think Donkey Kong appeared one time, stuff like that. But it's fun, The maps, some of the maps are remakes of some popular maps. Western Land from Mario Party 2 is in this one. Remastered. It's cool. The mini games are okay. The mode that we've discovered recently that we like is the pro mode, which I think Jake talked about a little bit.
I just the briefest of mentions, because I was so surprised that there was such a thing. Getting rid of the luck based or RNG type stuff, I thought was a wild move.
Pro mode to me is the only way to play. Like,
okay,
I think not playing in pro mode is like legitimately not super fun. But pro mode does get rid of some of the RNG, and you can like vote on mini games, which is cool to a degree. They're still kind of random, but you can vote. You can narrow them down, right?
Right.
I'm not a fan of like the motion control mini games. Not a huge fan of those, and so
I don't think I would be either. The last time I played something like that, I felt like I was playing a Wii game from 2004. You know what I mean? Where you're just like shaking the thing. Which I guess if it was more skill based than that if it was like tennis or ping pong or like you got to do a thing sort of very much on purpose, I'd feel differently. But you remember when the Wii came out and there was all this shovelware that was just like, waggle the thing, and now you're playing beer pong or whatever. It was like they just made up a Wii version of a super simple
everything,
game and
yeah.
sold it for $20 at Walmart, and it sold like freaking hotcakes, and
And we played it 1,000 times in college, yeah.
What?
So it's cool, but you actually have the option to turn off all motion control mini games, so that's cool. And so
I dig that.
I think the next time we play, we're going to do that. The one thing I like about the game is that, well, there's a lot that I like about it, but I think the biggest thing is that it's customizable, and you can play Mario Party the way you want to play. If you want to play a bunch of Wii and Wii U era motion control mini games, you can turn only those mini games on. If you don't want to do that, you can turn them off. If you want to play pro rules like we do, because we play a lot of Mario Party, and so where there's a little less RNG, you can do that. If you only want to play mini games, there's a mini game plaza area where you can just play mini games, right? So that's cool. And that's been in several Mario parties for a while. But
sure,
I like it.
That's still cool.
Casey likes it. I don't know that we like it as much as we liked All-Stars, but there's some nostalgia there. We started playing that game right around the time we got married. And
it's your thing.
It's our thing. It was our thing. And so... there's that. And then I also bought, I was in a GameStop of all places. That was a wasteland. Boy,
you didn't want to buy up all the Funko Pops they had in stock, dude?
I mean, it's like they don't even sell video games in there anymore. Like,
I know.
It's crazy.
I know. Gone are the days.
And, but I bought Super Mario RPG, which is a remake of a Super Nintendo game. I guess remaster is a better term because it's the exact same game with modern graphics, right?
Okay.
So it's not really a remake, it's a remaster.
Okay.
To me, remake, we've had this conversation before. To me, remake changes the game engine and, a la Final Fantasy VII Remake where it's a, completely different battle system, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
We've talked about this in episode whatever the and so it's a remaster. It's very... very cool. It looks great. I enjoy it. I've actually never. I played the original a little bit, and it's great. The story's pretty unique as far as Mario games go. Mm-hmm. The original game was actually a kind of it was a SquareSoft game before SquareSoft became Square Enix. Okay. So it's turn based, but there's some real-time button mashing where, like, when you do, like, an attack, if you hit the punch button at just the right time, you get an extra attack off. So it's not 100% turn-based in that way. There's some actual, like, you can do more damage if you do this sort of thing.
Sweet.
And, yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it a lot. Music's great. You know, it's got the very classic Super Nintendo, great music, just happy-go-lucky vibe to it.
Right.
Which I need a little bit of. Everyone needs a little bit of in their life, you know? And so
That's right. I agree.
It brings me back to, you know, a simpler time. I remember watching some friends play this game when I was a kid, you know, and actually getting to play it now with much, much better graphics. Because the graphics of the original game haven't aged super well, you know?
Right,
And
especially if you emulated that game on like some little device and then blew it up full screen on a television that is modern day sort of 55 plus inch size,
Yeah.
you know, like it wouldn't look great because it's going to be all blown out.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which it kind of brings a separate point of like some games really still do look amazing, even you know, like
Yeah, they're out there.
like Super Mario World looks great on a 70-inch TV, like you would not believe. But yeah, it's fun. So 2 new Switch games. Switch is starting to show its age, gentlemen. It
Starting
really
to
is.
show its age.
Sorry, it's starting to wear its age.
Yeah, dude. That sucker needs to be put in a nursing home. It's like the way it's performing at this point. I'm stoked for the whenever they fully unveil its successor. I think that'll be a welcome change. I don't imagine it will be an outrageous horsepower freaking machine, but the current sort of Switch, you know, ecosystem is full of games that like barely run good. And the ones that do run well, it's clear that they like, you know, use certain like development tricks to make it look really good. Obviously, Nintendo's really good at making games that run well on the Switch because they made the Switch. It's sort of like Apple's software running really well on the new M4 chip that just got announced. It's like, well, yeah, it's going to run really well because you're writing software yourselves and making chips yourselves. So, you know, software that you make or software that's very similar to what you make is probably going to run really well on this hardware. But anyway.
That would be pretty awesome, though, if Nintendo was, like, introducing the Switch 2, and it's, like, $900, like, the last gaming console you'll ever need.
It's like 5 PS5s put together.
Right.
Smushed into a pancake that fits in your hands.
Right.
It's
That'd be
clearly
so sick.
alien technology that's been borrowed from another
Right.
galaxy. You're like,
just-
whoa!
The first console developed by the nation of Israel.
Yeah, dude, that's the move. I'm sure that'll be a big hit.
But there's only one.
Worldwide.
There's only
Straight
one
from the
game.
mines of Liberia comes the Switch 2.
It's like one guy in a hut with a soldering iron and a few, you know, AMD processors, and he's like, "I figured it out, you guys. Actually, if you just do it this way, it runs Crysis. You wouldn't believe." That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the Switch. I'm glad you're getting some time with your lady, playing some fun games. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man, it's great. What about you?
I have been a bit of a grass toucher. This past weekend, we had my son's birthday. He turned 6. It was delightful. We had a big time. We went out to the arcade. I guess that's the main. Honestly, if you look at like the clock hours, other than us playing PUBG, and then me catching a little bit of a PUBG bug the past few days, playing at this arcade that we took my son to for his birthday was the main video games I played. I made time with the family to spend at Round 1 in Greensboro. It was really dope. That place I'd been to once before with my brother and a couple of his friends, and we played some games there. I talked about that experience one time on the podcast because there was a game straight from Japan that still had like it was like not translated at all. It was just like all Japanese text, and you sat in this like tank combat sort of cockpit, and on the tank controls, when you push the triggers, the chair that you're sitting in moves as if it's like moving with the cannon of the tank, and it's like jugong, and it's this really dramatic movement. So we went back to that same place, played a bunch of games. We really did it right, you guys. We loaded up like $100 worth on these cards, just went for it. We made sure we ate beforehand, so we're not in there buying snacks at the snack bar, because they have like whole chicken sandwiches and stuff, pizzas. You can get all kinds of stuff. It's one of those like combo bowling alley, everything kind of places. But we didn't get a single like drink or snack while we were there, and for like just over 2 hours, we occupied both of our kids and ourselves playing like Halo Fireteam Raven, where there's like 4 different seats and it's on a double screen, and you're like doing a light gun shooter. We played rhythm games. We played the silly little luck chance games where you get, tickets. The boys did a couple of the VR experiences that they thought were really cool that I thought were super lame. Is like, SpongeBob, the roller coaster. Put on this headset that's clearly got, some other kid's sweat on it, and what I can only pray to God is meringue. There was a dalliance I once had with rhythm games, you guys. DDR, Guitar Hero, this kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
That I was just roped back into because there was a game. They had a whole section at this arcade full of straight from Japan rhythm games that you don't see anywhere else. And they had this one that was like a DJ turntable where there's like 2 knobs on the opposite sides, like 4 rectangular buttons, 2 buttons below that. And I watched this guy play, you guys. This was a serious like weeaboo type, okay? You could tell. You could just, how you can just tell. And this guy was like playing this like DJ game, and I was like, that's incredible. I could watch this all day, And that same guy goes over to the DDR a little bit later, and he does that mode, this like super uber pro mode where both of the arrow key sets are like activated for one person. And he's like dancing across the whole thing. And I was like, I guess he goes over there to do leg day. And he goes to the DJ turntable to do, up here. And then his fingers give out. He goes and plays DDR. And then his legs get tired and he goes practices the finger blasting. That's right, Jared. I couldn't have said it better myself. The rhythm game of choice for me that day was not DDR or DJ 3000 or whatever, but a game that was basically like a simulated taiko drum.
I was just going to ask you if they had that game.
So you know what I'm talking about?
I first saw it when I lived in Japan, and it's so much fun.
Dog! It was like my new favorite rhythm game obsession. I couldn't believe how cool it was. It was so simple and like really enthralling. The way that the screen, it's not literally a circular screen, but it's framed in such a way as that it feels like a circular screen. And the notes are coming like up out of the abyss, like into your eyeballs. The way that it's situated was just perfect. And there's these 4 quadrants, sort of like north, south, east, west. And you hit the actual screen, or on the outside of the screen, there's these big rubberized rims of the taiko drum that are north, south, east, west, corresponding with the anyway. I had a blast. I played it like 3 times, rocking out to all these like anime themes that I don't know, and just had all these remixes of songs that I don't know the original. And there's something about the style of music that's in Japanese rhythm games that is like so catchy and so good and so well produced. And the speakers were, how sometimes you go play a rhythm game in an arcade and the speakers aren't loud enough, or like this controller's broken, or like something's wrong with the experience. Not the case when I was at round 1. It was like everything works. The sticks are there. They're connected to the thing. Everything is how it should be. Have at it. And out of our $100, the $100 we spent on 2 different cards got us like, I think 500 something credits on the like card system, and to play that game was like 8 credits, and so I could play it a whole bunch of times. It was not an expensive game to play. Anyway, had just a blast with the arcade with the family. Spoiled our son.
The game is called Taiko no Tatsujin, by the way.
Okay, thank you, Douglas. I forget sometimes that you were in Japan for as long as you were.
And they have it for Switch.
They have it for Switch. Yeah. Does it come with a taiko drum?
Yeah, but the one with the drum is $170.
Oh, dude, you shouldn't have told me that. Man,
you're not a gamer if you don't get it.
I think the way the dialogue was in the game, because there's a tutorial mode which I played just to like figure out how the game works, and I was thankful that the tutorial is just you can play it without costing any of your credits. The tutorial was like, the voiceover was it was a sub, not a dub, as they say. So the voiceover was in Japanese, but then all the text was translated, and I think they called it like musical diver or something. Musical diver. Whatever they called it. It was very cool. Oh, and one more thing I'll say about this game. Another reason that it slaps. It's not like DDR, where if you like fail a certain number of notes, the song is over and like you lose the rest of your turns. You can just get to the end of the song. No matter what, your score will tank, but like it lets you finish the song no matter what. And I think that's really sick because you might be able to rescue like a C or a B rating out of it, you know? And then it also did I think it was a total of 3 songs that you got to play in the one. And like I said, it was not that many credits in the first place. Anyway, I'll shut up about it now. So then after that, back to real life on Monday, my other son was sick, so I worked from home a couple days and got a bunch of stuff done. And on lunch breaks, edited the podcast or tried to after DaVinci Resolve problems I had. I tell you what I want to talk about for a moment, though, is some real life stuff. I've been doing a little bit of working out, a little bit of dieting again. My goal in the past several months was to just do portion control and lose weight in the kitchen rather than the gym because I am a bit of a foodie, and that's my problem. I got 99 problems, and food is all of them. I love to smoke meat. I love to grill steaks. I love to make red beans and rice. I love to make ramen.
Wait, whoa. How are those first things a problem?
Oh, none of it's a problem. It's just that I would eat. Like, I used to eat until I felt bad. You know what I mean? No. Like, I'm not over until I feel bad. And then I slowly just realized, like, you're not supposed to feel bad when you're done eating a meal. You're actually not, turns out. And so I just did portion control to get down to like 160, and then I went to my buddy at work. His name's Dave. Shout out Dave. And I said, "Hey man, you're a pretty strong fella." He was active duty in the military at one point, and he's pretty jacked. I'm not gonna lie. And he was like, "Well, what's your goal? What do you want to do, man?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I think maybe this winter I need to do a little hibernation, a little bulking up. I'm gonna eat some protein. Like, what do you think I should do?" You know, yeah, I could go online and I could have some jagweed on YouTube tell me this one weird trick. Doctors hate him. Yeah. You know, and somebody could tell me
I lost 200 pounds eating my own diarrhea. What?
This rare seed from the Amazon is the way to. It's a miracle drug that doctors don't want you to know.
7 dirty secrets truckers just don't want you to know.
Truckers,
that's right.
Why are they trying to keep it to themselves? Find out in this video.
That's right. Don't skip. Watch till the end.
Yeah.
I said, you look like the results work, whatever you did. So what'd you do? What did you tell me about this? And he's like, well, I've been up and down my whole life, especially when I was in the military, working out all the time. But I tell you, if you have a goal weight, a rule of thumb that I have is whatever you want to weigh, that's how many grams of protein you should eat in a day, minimum. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, he said, you're what now? I said, 160. He said, what do you want to be? And I was like, I don't know, 185. If I could put on like 25 and have it be, you know, it's not like you can put on just muscle, but if I work out and eat a buttload of protein, like 185, and then I cut after that, is that the idea? He's like, yep, you're going to bulk now, you're going to cut later. Don't worry about the fat that comes with it. Just kind of work out and eat a buttload of protein. So I pulled up MyFitnessPal when I got home, and I was like, all right, let me put in some recipes. You know, what's my macros on this recipe? What's my macros on this recipe? I made buffalo chicken dip. I made chicken thighs. I made Brussels sprouts. I did all this different stuff, and I got no problem eating because, like I said, I used to eat until I felt bad, and so I've made these giant plates of like a little over a pound of chicken thighs and like 2/3 of a pound of Brussels sprouts. And I put a little bit of low sugar, like hot sauce and like stuff on them, some cheese, you know. And my wife was like, are you going to eat all that? I was like, just watch. Like 10 minutes later, I'm done. And she's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know? But I'm down. And I've been doing some working out. We have a gym sort of facility at my work that I can use. I've done that. I've done some stuff at home. I've been doing some plyometric stuff,
kind of
trying to get
workouts
my fast twitch. So I'm going to show my butt here a little bit because I am not the most knowledgeable, like, gym rat. Really not. In the past, when I worked out for what I would say was the most consistent part of my life, after our first son was born, I wanted to lose some of the sympathy weight I gained with Andrada because, again, I'm a bit of a foodie. And when your wife is pregnant and she wants what she wants, you cook her whatever she wants. And since I did all the cooking, I was like, what's that? You want fettuccine Alfredo with steak for, like, 4 nights this week? All right, here we go. And so I ate whatever I had cooked, you know, and it was like, anyway, so I, at that time, would like come home from work and do like 2 or 3 miles on an exercise bike. And then I would hit weights and do, I could pull them up if I had the same app anymore. I don't know if I do or not. But me and Clay, friend of the pod, Clay Maxey, we were holding each other accountable and texting back and forth. I had some supersets that I was doing where I was like, back and shoulders sort of like day, and then I had like leg day, and then I had like this thing, and it was like trying to do a very efficient for the time I was spending, amount of working out. I remember at one time, back in the day, dude, I had a max squat of like 325, and I'm not a huge guy, and I had like some legs, at one time. I want to kind of get back to that. I want to feel like I'm athletic. I want to feel like I'm balanced. I want to feel like, what I think of as myself again. I don't know if you guys have ever had this, Jared. You probably don't know what I'm talking about because you've been pretty athletic for a while now. But there's a feeling where like somebody goes, "Hey man, come play soccer with us," right? Mm-hmm. You're out with some friends. You're in somebody's backyard. And you're like, "Hey, come play soccer with us. You used to play soccer, Jake. Come on out here." And you go, "Oh, I couldn't possibly."
Yeah.
And you go out there and you're like, "It'll be great. It'll be great." And then you play soccer like an abject retard, and you realize you're not nearly as coordinated as you used to be. You've lost some of those skills. You don't have the muscle tone. You certainly
I have
don't have
no
the
idea what
endurance.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
As the athletic one of the three of us.
Greg is currently doing his laundry on his six-pack abs right now. That's why he's been so quiet. Working out stains on his abs.
Hey, I did run and walk today, so I will say that.
Yeah, and I hold that thought because I want to come back to that. I want to talk about things that we can do. Again, speaking of time efficiency, okay, when I worked out at that time, I did keto. I hit the gym for like 30 to 40 minutes every day. Not every day. I took some rest days, but I was very efficient with the time that I spent. Where like I came home and kissed my wife, kissed my son, didn't sit down on the couch because I knew if I did I wouldn't get up, put on my gym shorts, and I went to our gym at the apartment complex, and I immediately got on the bike, immediately went to the weights, immediately went home and showered. Like I just bam, and it really worked for me because that was the only way to squeeze in. I got a kid at home, I got stuff to do. Yeah. And so what I've noticed about my current regimen is that because I can work out at work, at least sometimes, I don't every time, it depends on what I got going on, that's a huge plus because I'm still like around, and I can hit the locker room, hit the showers, and then get back to my desk, heat up my food that I brought from home. It's like really, really sweet deal. And then when I come home, because my wife works when she does and gets home when she does, I beat her home by a little bit, and I can try to squeeze in a workout before she gets home. And it's all about efficiency for me. I'm not necessarily trying to be a bodybuilder. I just want to be more athletic, and if I can squeeze it in at these sort of like key intervals in my day, I think I might actually be able to stick with it. And that's my sticking point is like, if I'm not doing something that I can actually sustain, like I could eat like this for the rest of my life if you let me, because I love chicken thighs. I love Brussels sprouts. I love all this food I've been making lately. And I've got more ideas that I haven't even pulled out yet. Like for
Are you
the
staying
winter
away
months.
from red meat?
No, I had steak tonight. No, not necessarily. Okay. It was just some of the example. I had another tomahawk ribeye the other night, actually.
Nice.
So I'm not staying away from any particular sort of I'm not staying away from anything really. I'm just prioritizing protein and trying to get as close to about 3,000 calories a day as I can.
Gotcha.
But anyway, I want to hear from you boys. What are some things, again, focusing on the real life, sort of grass touchery, responsible parts of our lives? What are some things that you do to stay fit? How do you squeeze it in? How do you make time? Because when I try to squeeze it in, if I can't repeatably like do it, it's really hard to stick with, right?
Yeah. I think so. Like last year before I got married, I did a very specific diet. I did basically carnivore. And I was working out like a psychopath. I mean, I
remember because you visited my house and you were like, we need to go get me some ground beef. That's all I need. Just
right.
Beef. And I was like, you animal.
Yeah. And it was great. I loved it. And I seriously didn't take a rest day for like months at one point. Like I was going crazy, and it was fun. And then I got married and everything kind of changed. Not because my outlook changed as much as my situation changed. I just wasn't single, and I'm living further away from the gym kind of, and all this stuff. But in this season of my life, it's really just been about like maintenance, just getting in and like honestly, just getting in and putting up 185 a couple times on the bench and feeling like I'm working my legs out a little bit and just being kind of close to what I was doing before is satisfactory enough for me. And because I know those numbers are not that impressive, but to be fair, also strength, putting up huge numbers was never my thing anyways. It really was a health
right,
thing.
and I would argue, unless you are going for something specific, I'm a pretty practical guy generally, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking, what's my use case? Well, my use case is I don't want to get tired when I'm trying to play with my kids.
Right,
I want to be able to play a pickup game of soccer and not die.
Right.
I want to feel like I'm strong because I haven't felt super strong lately. And so I don't need to bench 250. I need to bench 150, and I'll feel fine with that. I won't mind, actually.
If I could suggest anything to our listeners
Please.
And to you, I would say, more importantly, eat red meat, stay away from processed, run sprints. My wife is going to the gym. Speaking of which,
hey, go get it.
Run sprints and get sun.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for people who are just I just want to look better, especially for us white people. Literally, if you just get 15 minutes of sun on as much of your body as you can every day, you will be blown away at how much better you look. Hey, dude, I do it. I get buns out. I'm in an apartment.
Sun's out, buns out,
buns
baby.
out. I got to time it right. Sometimes I'm too busy. Sometimes that's the other thing is when I was living at my old apartment complex, I would just go down to the pool. I looked I was axed. So I didn't care. I would walk over shirtless. People were like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? This guy sucks.
Yeah.
But I didn't care at that point. Now I'm not in as good a shape, and there's no way I'm going to the pool looking like that. But
funny. You're out there solar charging your perineum, dude. Doing a little taint tanning
on the
there,
balcony. I got my buns out on the balcony. I make sure nobody can see me. But yeah, dude, it's a huge part of a holistic health approach, and the sprints thing, as weird as it sounds, I think is what I've heard and what I believe.
It doesn't feel that weird to me because I've been doing. So I mentioned plyometrics earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing something really intense for a short amount of time, doing these sort of box jumps and broad jumps, and making it so that your body goes harder, faster, and quicker. And
right.
Some of
is
some
used
of my
to
goals personally,
the shock of kinetic, quick. Yes. Movements that are going to hurt you if you try and do something. It's not the jogging up and down the field if you try and play soccer. It's the cut you try and make that your body hasn't
Right, because if I'm going to
experienced.
get stronger, my dad has pretty bad knees, right? I don't know if that's a genetical thing or if that's related to his time in the military. Whatever it is, I want to avoid that kind of stuff for sure. I've had a shoulder that bothered me once in a while, and I have to rest it and rehab it occasionally, probably from cranking it in disc golf.
Whoa!
Or just
what the
cranking
heck?
So, speaking of practicality, one of the things that I am doing any of this for is so that I can throw a disc farther in disc golf, or when I go play ball golf, big boy golf,
ball
golf. Not drive like a wimp. You know what I mean? There's just certain things that I want to be able to do, fast twitch kind of stuff. So I'm down with sprinting, dude. I've always been a sprinter. I freaking hate endurance. Running long distances, are you joking?
Yeah, it's garbage.
Get in the car.
I was just gonna say,
hey, runners,
right?
Get a car, dude.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Do you not know that you could buy a skateboard for all I care, you stupid idiot. Quit running around. Dude, my cousin is a trainer, and he does a ton of work helping people with pain. People that do volume exercise, if you're doing long-distance running, if you are anything that you do all the time, your body is going to pay for it, especially as it gets older. Yes. And it's like
the treads on a tire, you're just wearing them out, dude.
He one of the things that he absolutely loathes is skiing. He's got people in his gym that have been lifelong skiing enthusiasts. Their bodies are
snowbirds coming down, and they're like, "Oh, I'm a skier."
I mean, yeah, dude. Old people that are their bodies are he's got a guy who's had surgery on his back, his shoulder, his knee, his hip, all 20 times across his entire body. It's
his neck,
doing
his
that
back,
kind of stuff. So
yeah.
Take care of your body, dude.
For real.
He dislocated his son.
Listen, I'm glad you said all that and Greg, it's going to be your turn, so get it ready. I'm glad you said all that because another thing I wanted to echo my buddy Dave said, he's like, guys, at this point, talking about maintenance, right? Like he's married, they've got a kid on the way, all kinds of stuff. He's like, my goal is I want to lift something that is like perceptibly heavy, like 3 times a week. Okay. Yeah. I want to go do something fun that is exercise about once a week. For me, that's like disc golf or whatever, right?
Right.
And he said, and I, what do you say? I do like a little zone 2 cardio, like 2 or 3 days a week, maybe alongside the lifting, maybe not. Like nothing crazy. I just want to make sure my heart's beating. Like if my ticker's okay, I'm okay. Because I had asthma when I was a kid. That's one of the reasons I've always hated running is because I have these like traumatic core memories of being asked to run a mile in 8th grade and feeling like I was going to die.
Right.
That has more or less since gone away, but my respiratory system and my cardio system is like not amazing. So I choose to work on that just a little bit to know that I'm, being a little heart healthy. But anyways, good stuff so far. Deg, add to it. What do we got? You just said you were doing some walking and running.
Yeah, funny enough, I'm actually kind of working through I don't know if it's an ankle injury or an Achilles tendon injury or a lower calf muscle injury, like right below. So basically like where my shin is, on the opposite, the back of my leg there, so like above my Achilles tendon, below my calf muscle, hurts really badly and has for like 3 or 4 weeks now. Like whenever I walk, and even like, so tonight I went on it's kind of funny you guys mentioned this. I've always wanted to be a runner. I've always wanted to. And I don't know that it's something I want to do the rest of my life, but I would like to be able to run long distance. I've always wanted to be able to do that. And so I've been watching a lot of videos, and so I started like day 1 today of like a training program that starts very, very basic. And it's really simple. Like the guy just basically says like, run as far as you can. Like it's not a time limit. Run as far as you can till you get like quite winded, and then walk twice that length. And then do that for 30 minutes. So like,
I like how that scales to your ability. I think that's smart instead
correct.
of some arbitrary length or distance that people obsess over like it's a recipe.
Yeah. So I'm pretty out of shape right now, and for me tonight that was 1 minute of running, and I'm pretty like particular. I was trying to be particular about it when it was like running. It was like running, not like a light jog, like actually running. Yeah. And then when I went to the walking, it was like full on walking. So I was like a minute running, 2 minutes walking, and just alternating that for 30 minutes. Well, I did like a 5-minute walk warm up, and then I started running, and the instant I started running, this injury started flaring up. So I was only able to do that for about 10 minutes. And then I had to just go to walking. So I ended up walking for like almost 45 minutes. But it's still like a lot of, for me right now, that's good. But
listen, I totally agree because there's a lot of sedentary just stuff that we settle into if we don't do something. I'd much rather see somebody take a nice long walk around their neighborhood than do nothing, like by far.
But yeah, to get back to my original point, I've always wanted to be a long distance runner. Like, I've always been jealous. Truthfully, I'm jealous of people that they're into that and they like that. I think because like when I marched drum corps, for example, we would always go on long distance runs, and I always struggled. And I was surrounded by all these people who were skinnier than me. Even when I was fit, they were skinnier, right? And not that skinny is a goal, but you know what I'm saying. And they could run a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, and it's not even a big deal. And I'd be dying. I'd be dying. And I always wanted to be able to do that. And so I like walking long distance. Like when Bodie, my son, was born, for like the first month after he was born, I was walking for an hour and a half basically every day. I was walking for 90 minutes a day without stopping, which for me, an hour and a half is about 5 miles. I go about 5 miles an hour and a half. And I like the steady state cardio part of that. My heart rate was slightly elevated. And I felt good. Just get some fresh air. I can do it on the treadmill. I prefer doing it outside. We have some pretty nice views, and my neighborhood it's kind of hilly, and you can
to
get
Jared's
nice
point,
views.
right? Little sun, little fresh air. That's good for you.
Fresh air. Sure. And so I would love to get to the point where I could be a runner. I think I would really like that. I've run 2 5Ks in my life. One of them when I was in what I would say good shape, and it was a sub 20-minute 5K, which is pretty fast.
Was that in college? Do I remember that?
Yeah, I was in college and I was doing P90X all the time and swimming all the time,
right.
and not actually training for 5Ks or marathons, but I just happened to sign up for one and ran pretty quickly because I was fit.
You were in shape.
I was lifting weights and swimming and stuff. So.
Yeah.
But to your point, I would like to get back to the point, and I'm quite overweight, listeners. If those of you who don't know me in real life, right now is not the healthiest I've been in my life, and I'd like to get back there someday.
Sure.
But for me, I would like to get to where I could run. I think that'd be fun. I'd like to be able to play something like disc golf regularly and not die.
Right.
But more than that, I want to be able to play with my son. Kind of a wake up call for me a little bit was a few days ago. We had a rehearsal in football stadium, and our press box is like it's not really tall press box. Like it's not a long distance to get up there, but there's no elevator, so you got to take the stairs.
Right.
And I just walked from the field up to the press box. And I was so winded, I couldn't even talk.
Dang, that is a wake-up call.
Dude. And I was like, okay, I've got to do something. I've got to do I've got to do something because, one, that's just that's not okay, right? Like I should not, that clearly means my heart is not in a good place, right? And I have a family history of heart disease. Like my dad had a heart attack 3 years ago. My grandpa had 3, the third of which killed him. And so, I don't want that to happen to me. Yeah. And so, that's why I know that probably the best way for me to get fit is to do a combination of cardio and lifting weights. I know that. But right now, for me, walking and running is simpler. No equipment involved, for sure. I don't have to go to a gym to do that. Someday, I of course, would love to get back to lifting weights and doing all that because I think I enjoy that more than I like doing steady-state cardio,
And skipping rope, if you ever find yourself that way, too, you can do that in your backyard or whatever. That's
exactly.
Really
and
good
so...
stuff.
But to Jake's point, I want to get back to where I can play golf again. And, during the height of COVID, I was playing golf all the time. And then I had my back surgery and haven't played golf since my back surgery. And so gaining some core flexibility and strength and being able to actually twist and rotate. And Jake's saying, it's so funny you said that because about people inviting you to play soccer because when people invite me to do anything physical, I go, oh no. And I used to not be that way. At one point in my life, if someone's like, hey, do you want to go throw a Frisbee around? I'd be like, yeah, sure. I remember in college, we went through a racquetball phase, where we'd go to the gym and play racquetball. I
remember that. I did not partake, but I remember hearing all about
it. And that's a really high intensity cardio activity racquetball is, especially if you want to be good at it and not just lose constantly. And being able to do all that fast twitch stuff, that would kill me right now. I mean, it would literally kill me, And so just to get back to that, and I know it's going to be a long process. I'm quite out of shape, but I'm gonna start doing some things and. I like doing the alternating running and walking. That's enjoyable, But yeah, all that to say, I would love to be able to run again someday, consistently. I mean, gosh, when I run my first mile, I think I'll be so excited I'll throw up.
Right. I'm glad that you have some concrete stuff that you want to get into as a starting point. I would also say I haven't bought any yet, but one of my buddies was telling me about all the different kettlebell stuff that he does. Because if you get 3 kettlebells, you can graduate and switch between those and do lots of things with those. I've just never a kettlebell. I've never had them or been to a gym and used them They're relatively cheap, and you can pick them up from like Play It Again Sports or whatever. I don't know if they have those in Texas. Go somewhere and get like some gently used, workout gear, and that's probably sufficient for, like Jared said, the backyard or whatever. There's a lot of things that because this is the thing, I'm not going to use my garage to store like, a bench and racks of weights or anything. That's just not like my whole thing. That's not what I want to use my garage for. I want to use my garage to like put my golf stuff, both disc golf and ball golf. I want to park my electric BMW motorcycle in there. I've got other plans for my garage, and I also don't want it to be like a hangout spot. That's right. I also don't want to use my garage as like a place that I escape my family to. Like I go there to like leave my family. And I don't want to, like I said, I want to be efficient. And my goal with working out is to not inconvenience the other people in my life that I really care about spending time with. So it sounds like you've got a healthy mix there, bud. And I hope, let's keep talking about it. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's check in and make sure we're doing that. Cause I know it's challenging sometimes. So.
I better not get some kind of photo that says my penis after only 1 week of lifting. Check it out. That kind of stuff.
You know how people
it's not that kind of podcast, guys.
I'm not my goal weight yet, but check out the face gains. And then they go like this and they like change how their face looks to the camera. They're like, face gains. I'm going to send you guys pictures of my gains.
Yeah, check out the face gains.
Yeah. So I can already see it in the wrinkles on my butthole. Check this out. Look at my...
I tried some of that taint tanning Jared turned me on to. I got to tell you what, it's pretty good.
Get out there, folks. Get out there. Get the buns out. And
that was a real trend at one point. They called it like perineum sunning or something.
It was a thing, yeah. Not something that I wasn't out there. I've never been out there spreading my cheeks apart to get sun up. That is a thing.
That does feel like another level.
It's another level.
Spreading them to the sun gods. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
God.
Well, fellas, thanks for the convo on that one. I think we've all got some takeaways. Listener, I hope you enjoyed that. A little bit of real life for you, a little bit of grass touching, but hey, it's good for you. I think us gamers have a problem with being a little too sedentary. I think I've mentioned this before, but there was a meme I saw one time that was very convicting that said, oh, man, work sucks. I can't wait to go home to stop looking at bad screen so I can look at good screen. And I was like, oh no, that's my actual life. Yeah. Because I look at a screen like so much. That's why I have these stupid blue light glasses. It's like I really got to watch it. I really got to make sure I'm not too sedentary. So, word to the wise, get out there. I should have ended the podcast right there. Anything else, boys? I think we're probably good.
I think we're good.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I will end it there. Well, speaking of touching grass and staying healthy, it's time to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to check out last week's episode. It's a video available both on Spotify and YouTube. I'm going to try to keep that up whenever we have our little play sessions, when we do a little gaming and podcasting squeezed into one sweet sesh. We always appreciate the engagement. Be sure to share the pod, love the pod, like the pod, follow the pod, and get out there. Come on. And touch some grass.
Wow, maybe the most grass toucher episode ever, dude.